Good afternoon. The date is September 24th, 2025. We are here today on a special exception application. The case number is SEZ 2025-00014. Special exception requests. The decision is final with the hearing examiner. So at the conclusion of this hearing, I will be rendering a decision that is final rather than a recommendation. All testimony and evidence we accept during these hearings will be taken in under oath. I'd like to administer the oath at this time. Do you swear or affirm the testimony and evidence you enter into the record will be the truth?
Yeah, I do.
Very good. Since we don't have any members of the public here, I'm going to dispense with my normal formalities and we'll just get started with the case presentation by the applicant.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, Veronica Martin, Senior Planner with TDM Consulting. I'm here representing the applicant. It's 4151 Fort Myers, LLC. I have been accepted as an expert witness in the Land Development Code and the LEAP Plan and would like to be accepted as such again today.
Yes, please proceed.
I do have one exhibit I would like to enter into the record. It's a copy of today's PowerPoint.
That will be applicant exhibit 2. The 48-hour letter was exhibit 1.
Again, the request before you today is a special exception to permit open storage in the North Fort Myers commercial corridor pursuant to Land Development Code section 33-1596. The 8.4 acre property is located at 4151 Hancock Bridge Parkway on the north side, and it's also west of Orange Grove Boulevard in the North Fort Myers planning community. This site is currently developed with a public warehouse called Extra Space Storage and a hardware store, Ace Hardware. With the remainder of the site developed with a large parking lot, dry detention area, and the green open space. A special exception was approved in 2023 for this site. The original applicant wanted to provide open storage along with mini storage where the parking lot is located, if I can just, in this section here. However, the property has been purchased by a new applicant, a new property owner, and he does not want to include the mini warehouse. He just wants to do the open storage. The open storage will permit storage of vehicles, boats, and RVs. And as a result of that minor change, a new site plan is proposed to reflect those changes. The property does have a future land use classification of suburban. And as you can see, the surrounding properties also have a future land use classification of suburban. The property is located within the mixed use overlay per LEAP Plan Map 1C, shown on in the light purple. The subject property has two zoning districts, CG and C1A. Both do permit the proposed use. The surrounding zoning districts to the south, the east, and the west are also commercial, consisting of CC, C1, C-1A, and CPD. And then there are residential lots, a residential subdivision with RS1 zoning to the north across the canal. This is the new proposed master site plan. The subject property has been developed since 1998. It was first developed as the Winn-Dixie Supermarket, which is the reason for so many parking spaces. It was then converted into the Grace Community Church. The property has gone through several transformations throughout the years, and again, the current configuration is the Ace Hardware and the Extra Space Storage. That vast expanse of asphalt is no longer needed to serve the proposed or existing uses, I should say. Even with the reduction, if they were to take the reduction with being in the mixed-use overlay, they still have an overabundance of parking, so they want to utilize that parking for something different, and open storage fits in with the uses that are already there, more compatible. The open storage area is required to be screened with a solid opaque fence, a minimum of 6 feet in height when visible from the street rights of way, and 8 feet in height when visible from a residential use. The solid opaque fence will be provided as required by the LDC. If the special exception is approved, a new development order will be required.
So will that fence be installed along the entire north property line?
It's the north property line, and then here, I'm sorry.
That's where the wall will be?
Down. Yes. And then it goes like that.
Okay.
The existing buffers to the south, east, and west comply with the existing development order. It's LDO 2019-00567. The right-of-way buffers to the south and east are 15-foot wide type D buffers, which is more than the current requirement for properties in the mixed-use overlay. The west buffer is a 5-foot wide type A buffer, and we're proposing a 10-foot wide type B buffer along the north property line where the commercial use abuts the single-family residential use.
And that's a carryover from the prior approval, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. The proposed development, as you see, it does meet the minimum 20% open space requirements. The traffic impact study is, of course, less than the previously approved special exception. The AM peak hours with the addition of the open storage is 35 AM peak trips and 38 PM peak trips. This development did not trip the criteria for turn lanes on Hancock Ridge Parkway or Orange Grove Boulevard. The subject property has a future land use classification of suburban, which does consist predominantly of residential areas, although commercial uses are permitted, such as the one that's already existing. The property is currently zoned CG and C1A, which is consistent with policy 1.1.5. Again, the property has gone through several transformations since it was the Winn-Dixie Shopping Center. Permitting the special exception allows for contiguous and compact growth patterns in a designated mixed-use overlay and a designated commercial corridor. Urban services such as water, sewer, fire, EMS, police protection, and public transit are available and adequate to serve this site. This is consistent with LEAD Plan Objectives 2.1, 2.2, and Policies 2.1.1 and 2.1.2. The existing commercial development is currently connected to potable water and sanitary sewer, and a letter of availability from LCU, a current letter of availability, indicates that the facility does have the capacity to serve the proposed development, which is consistent with standards 4.1.1 and 4.1.2. LEAD Plan Policy 5.1.5 protects existing and future residential areas from any encroachment of uses that are potentially destructive to the character or integrity of the residential environment. As previously stated, this property already has commercial zoning and has already been developed for commercial uses since 1998. The residential development to the north is already separated by a 40-foot wide drainage easement. And the current buffers between the two properties is only 5 feet wide. Part of the redevelopment of this site is increasing that northern buffer to 10 feet wide with, again, the type B plantings. And the type B plantings are 5 trees per 100 linear feet, plus a double staggered hedgerow to be maintained at 36 inches high. In addition, the open storage area will be screened behind an 8-foot high solid opaque fence as required by the code. And because this site has already been developed, there are numerous trees on site. The applicant does intend to preserve as many native trees as possible to buffer and shield the storage area, even though the fence is there. It'll provide more screening with the additional trees. The Land Development Code provides sufficient safeguards to protect the existing residential lots from the proposed use, and this is consistent with LEAP Plan Policy 5.1.5. Goal 6 of the LEAP Plan is to permit orderly and well-planned commercial development at appropriate locations within the county. Again, the property has already has commercial zoning and is developed with commercial uses. The applicant is requesting to redevelop the existing commercial property to maximize its potential with a use that is compatible with the surrounding and existing uses. The property is located along a commercial corridor. Urban services are available and adequate to serve the development, and the anticipated traffic will not degrade the level of service of the surrounding roadways. The project will be required to obtain a local development order demonstrating compliance with all codes and regulations. This is consistent with LEAP Plan Goal 6, Objective 6.1, and Policy 6.1.4, 6.1.6, and 6.1.7. The property is located in the mixed-use overlay, and again, surrounding uses do include both commercial and residential. The proposed site plan shows the existing connections to the commercial lots to the east and a proposed interconnect to the commercial lot to the west. This is consistent with policies 11.2.2 and 11.2.5. A public information meeting was held with the North Fort Myers Design Review Panel on February 7th, 2023. Because it's the same use, just without the mini storage, staff agreed that the original PIM could also be submitted with this application. Goal 30 is to improve the livability and economic vitality in the North Fort Myers community plan area by promoting compact mixed-use development, revitalizing older neighborhoods and commercial corridors, enhancing existing neighborhoods, and preserving natural resources. The applicant is redeveloping an existing commercial property on a commercial corridor. It has an overabundance of asphalt parking, and the applicant is proposing the open storage yard that will be fenced and secure so as not to be visible from the public to the public or the abutting properties. This special exception request is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies set forth in the North Fort Myers Community Plan, specifically Goal 30, Objective 30.2, and policies 30.2.4, 30.2.5, and 30.2.6.
Okay, can we go back to this? Applicant is proposing to add a second small indoor storage facility?
I did not take that out. That's I apologize for that. I would like to, I didn't read that because as I was going through my notes, I was like, that's not correct. Would you like me to re-edit this and send you the correct?
Can send me a
yes.
We'll just swap it out.
Thank you. No, it's just the open storage yard. We're not proposing a second indoor storage. And like I said, I didn't realize it said that until I was reading this. I'm like, that's not accurate.
Well, and then when I heard you say it, I turned and looked at it.
I apologize. I also want to talk about the North Fort Myers community planning meeting that we had in 2023. They were very supportive of the proposed use. And if it had been questionable or objectionable, we probably would have gone back. But they were supportive, given that it's already commercial development at that location.
So what's happened here is this former shopping plaza has been sold.
Yes.
And the new owner is now the landlord of the Ace Hardware and the public storage facility, and they want to pursue open storage on the unused paved parking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't want to add any structures at this point. They're just open storage.
And did I understand that there is a pending development order already?
There's an approved development order for the LDO that was approved when Ace Hardware went in.
Yeah, but
you're
going to add a new one for this,
yes,
don't you?
If the special exception gets approved today, which we're hoping it does.
So there isn't a pending application quite yet?
No,
I see. Okay, thank you.
The special exception criteria. We do believe that the applicant has proven entitlement to the special exception. The request is consistent with the goals, objectives, policies, and intent of the LEAP plan. It will protect, conserve, and preserve any environmentally critical and sensitive areas and natural resources where applicable. It will be compatible with existing and planned uses in the area. It will not be injurious to the neighborhood or detrimental to the public welfare, and it will be in compliance with zoning regulations pertaining to the use and other applicable regulations. That does conclude my presentation. I will, if you will leave the record open, I will send you an updated, correct copy of today's PowerPoint presentation.
You only have to replace the one.
The one page, okay. And that is it, if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you, Veronica. I don't have any questions. This seems like a rather straightforward request. We'll proceed to county staff presentation now.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Examiner. For the record, I'm Mary Sue Groth, Senior Planner with the Department of Community Development Zoning Section. I have been previously qualified as an expert witness in this forum and would like to ask that I do so again today. Thank you. I do have a copy of my PowerPoint presentation for you. I also had sent in the publication, the affidavit of publication this morning to your office.
That is going to be Exhibit 3. And then this will now be Exhibit 4, is the PowerPoint. Thank you.
Thank you. So I will start with the request and recommendation. Veronica did a great job on her presentation, so I'll try to be as brief as possible.
Okay, hang on a second. This is a correction. This is Staff Exhibit 3. The affidavit of publication was already part of the 48-hour, so I got to make sure my record keeping is.
There you go.
Okay, go ahead.
No problem. Okay, so as I was saying, Veronica did a great job on her presentation, so I'll try to be as brief as possible. She covered all of the LEAP land policies well, so. TDM Consulting is requesting a special exception on behalf of Prime Storage 4151 Fort Myers LLC to permit open storage in the North Fort Myers area pursuant to LDC Section 33-1596 within the North Fort Myers commercial corridor. The request is to convert a portion of the existing parking lot to allow outdoor storage of vehicles, boats, and recreational vehicles. Staff does recommend approval of this request. Some background information on the property. It is a 8.40 acre property located at 4151 Hancock Bridge Parkway. It's at the northwest corner of Hancock Bridge Parkway and Orange Grove Boulevard within the North Fort Myers Community Plan area and consists of one strap. Subject property is developed with a single commercial building with an existing public warehouse storage facility, extra space storage, and a existing hardware store, Ace Hardware. As we mentioned, this has been previously approved. Special exception SEZ 2023-00002. That would allow for open storage and a mini warehouse use. This request would supersede that resolution to allow for open storage only. The slide here does show the previous site plan, and then this request would remove that mini storage building in the parking lot. The subject property abuts a residential single-family RS1 neighborhood to the north, commercial C1A to the south across Hancock Bridge Parkway, and a commercial planned development to the east across Orange Grove Boulevard, and a community commercial CC and commercial C1A to the west. It is also located in the suburban future land use category, and the northern portion of the parcel is zoned commercial C1A, and the southern portion is zoned community commercial CC. It is also within the North Fort Myers commercial corridor and the mixed use overlay. For the special exception criteria covering LEAP Land LDC Section 34-145, The following slides will demonstrate how the applicant had met the listed criteria for special exception. In covering that LEAP plan policy, again, Veronica did a great job on that. This is in the suburban future land use category as described in policy 1.1.5. The suburban FLU consists of predominantly residential areas that are either on the fringe of the central urban or urban community future land use category, or in areas where it's appropriate to protect existing or emerging residential neighborhoods. The subject property, as we know, it does abut that residential single-family RS1 neighborhood to the north, and the proposed development has provided for an adequate 10-foot landscape buffer and proposed 8-foot high solid continuous visual screening as required in LDC section 34-3005, providing a barrier to that existing neighboring residential community to the north. Objective 2.1 states that continuous and compact growth patterns will be promoted. Though the suburban future land use is described as predominantly residential, this property is currently zoned for commercial, and the addition of open storage use is compatible with the surrounding commercial uses along the commercial corridor. The outdoor storage expansion of the existing site does promote that contiguous and compact growth. Policy 2.1.1 states most commercial development is expected to occur within designated future urban areas, and policy 2.1.2 states new land uses will be permitted only if they are consistent with the future land use goals. The proposed development is within a future suburban area, and the applicant has demonstrated consistency with the future land use map and LEAP plan. Objective 2.2 directs new growth to those portions of the future urban areas where adequate facilities exist. As we know, Hancock Bridge Parkway is an arterial road and designated commercial corridor. Adequate public service of fire, police, EMS, solid waste, transit, and public schools are available to the site. In addition, the applicant did provide an updated letter of availability from Lee County Utilities stating potable water and sanitary sewer are available. So LEAP plan policy 5.1.5 seeks to protect existing residential areas from any encroachment of uses that are potentially destructive to the character and integrity of the residential environment. The property, as we know, abuts that residential single family to the north, and again, the proposed development provides for adequate landscape and buffering. Goal 6, for commercial land use, property is in the existing commercial use covered by Goal 6 of the LEAP plan. Policy 6.1.4 states development will be approved only when compatible with adjacent existing and proposed land uses. This project site has adequate public infrastructure, as we've already established, and is compatible with the surrounding commercial uses to the south, east, and west. The applicant has acknowledged that landscaping, open space, and buffers will be designed to the Land Development Code standards, which fulfills policy 6.1.6. Adding the additional open storage use to the existing commercial use on the subject property is consistent with policy 6.1.7, which prohibits commercial development from locating in such a way as to open new areas to premature or scattered growth. Again, the property resides in the mixed-use overlay as identified by LEAP plan map 1C. The existing development has provided vehicular access to the commercial properties to the east, fulfilling policy 11.2.2, and the proposed use allows the applicant to fully utilize the existing commercial property in an area with a mixed commercial and residential use consistent with 11.2.5, which allows for urban forms of development with a variety of uses. Goal 30 of LEAP plan is to improve livability and economic vitality in the North Fort Myers planning community. This subject property resides in the North Fort Myers community plan area with a designated neighborhood center as described in policy 30.2.4. That's Hancock Bridge Parkway and Orange Grove Boulevard. And again, within the commercial corridor. This is creating additional uses on the property in the existing parking lot, so it will be consistent with policy 30.2.6, which encourages the use of mixed-use overlay development standards. Lee County Department of Transportation provided a transportation-related analysis, which stated that the proposed use will generate 35 trips in the AM peak hour and 38 trips in the PM peak hour. And since the project's trip generation is less than 100 trips per hour, no level of service analysis is going to be required. And that's going to fulfill policy 30.3.4. For the second piece of the criteria, the project will protect, conserve, or preserve environmentally critical and sensitive areas and natural resources. The applicant, as we know, is providing that adequate 10-foot landscape buffer to the abutting residential neighborhood to the north and an 8-foot high solid continuous visual screening as required in LDC section 34-3005. The existing project site and proposed development are compatible with the surrounding properties. Again, commercial C1 properties to the south, and then the community commercial businesses within the same quadrant of the subject property, the commercial plan development to the east, and commercial C1A to the west. The proposed use for open storage, in addition to an existing public warehouse use, are allowable in the and already established within this community and would not be injurious or detrimental to the public. The applicant has requested to permit open storage in the North Fort Myers pursuant to LDC section 33-1596. Use regulations within the North Fort Myers commercial corridor that allows open storage by special exception and has acknowledged compliance with LDC section 34-841 for commercial zoning districts for the proposed development. In addition, the applicant provided a site plan supporting compliance with the Lee County Land Development Code and zoning requirements, and the applicant held a public information meeting pursuant to the requirements of the North Fort Myers Planning Community. And in conclusion, the requested amendment meets the review criteria established in LDC section 34-145, and therefore staff does recommend approval of the applicant's request. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. I don't have any questions. My understanding is the reason why we had to have a hearing today is because we're substituting a new site plan. This application was analyzed 2 years ago and found to be consistent. I don't really see any reason to come to a different conclusion in this case. I'll take a look at all the information and I'll prepare a final decision. Should not take me that long. Thank you very much.
Thank you.